Welcome to the special call meeting of Danville Architectural Heritage Board, December 3rd, 2025, 10 a.m. First order of business is we have minutes from the last meeting. Just lost the date here. September 30th. If everyone's had a chance to review those meeting minutes, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Have a second. Any further discussion on the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Who moved to approve first, please? Who moved to approve it? Sounded good. All right,
You got it. Very good, very good.
and you did.
All right, and moving right along, item number
You just
3,
traced me.
have a certificate of appropriateness dealing with the Second Street Christian Church. Is there anyone here representing the church? Sir, if you would step up to the podium and tell us who you are, introduce yourself.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Pastor Dennis Miller at Second Street Christian Church, and come discuss about repairing the steeple on the church. Is what we
Yes, sir.
Is the microphone on? 'Cause-
get this thing high enough. And this gentleman here is representing what we're going to do to the steeple. If you get approved, he's going to slate,
Okay,
and it's hard to find the original miller that goes on the steeple, and what we found is so expensive, you know. And the church is not financially set, you know, to spend that much money on putting the original back on it. So that's why we're here today, to discuss it, so we can replace it with the slate. So he's got a sample to show y'all what we're looking at. And that's about it.
okay.
I met with Pastor Miller a couple of weeks ago, and we went and looked at the steeple. That is not the original covering for that steeple. That stuff was probably put on in the 70s. I cannot find what was originally on that steeple. It's just, there's no documentation of it. I've included an image in your all's packet from fairly early, but it's just not distinguishable what was ever on that steeple. Considering it was an African-American church at the time, I suspect finances were limited, so I suspect that the treatment on that steeple was probably a shake roof of some sort, wooden something. The steeple that's up there now, it is past its lifespan.
Yes.
Clearly, it's leaking,
Okay.
it's got lots of issues. And so they sent me, I guess this is Josh. Hey, Josh, we've talked quite a few times. They sent me a product here, the Da Vinci slate, and it is not an actual slate. It's a faux slate. But I sent you all the product evaluation on it, what it is. It does have a 50-year lifespan on it, which is certainly durable at that time. But I will let Josh come up and show you all what you have, and if you have any questions, you know, about the money versus the money. I'm not even sure you could find that anodized metal at this particular point that would replace it in kind, so.
So this is Da Vinci. It's a synthetic slate product. It does come with a 50-year warranty, manufacturer's warranty on it.
That's good.
It's very durable. The spider webbing on the back of it really encases its durability of being on a roof. What I love about this product is if there ever is an issue, it's easy to take one piece out, put one piece in, and you don't compromise everything else around it. As Joni stated, the roof that is up there now, I don't believe is original to that steeple either. Once we get it tore off, we'll have a better indication of what was there. And I do believe that it was a wood shake of some form.
If you find the information, if you would let that back to
I'll
Joni,
definitely
we would
document
appreciate it
that,
just
yeah.
for our documentation records.
Pictures would be great, because we just don't know.
I've done my fair amount of research on trying to locate what is up there right now. As Joni stated, it's extremely difficult to find that stuff. I found one company that had stock this, our manufacturers stock this, our supply houses stock this. And this would be a cost of somewhere around 10, to remove what's there and install this. This, you know, also backs our 5-year workmanship warranty with it, which I know that doesn't have a lot to do with you guys. But, the wind uplift rating on this is impeccable. It's wind rated for up to 200 miles an hour, which you're talking a category 5 or larger tornado for that to happen. I don't think Danville has ever seen wind speeds that's actually not true.
Yeah, have the Reverend say a prayer over that, please.
We do a lot of Da Vinci. There's two companies, Da Vinci and Bravo. They're both identical, 2 in 1. It's just a different manufacturing name. Same product. We use a lot more Da Vinci than we do Bravo. Da Vinci's what I've tabled for you guys today. But they've been around for a long time. We do a lot of it locally. We do a lot of it regionally. We don't necessarily travel out of state, but it is a very good product.
Okay. Gentlemen, any questions from the expert here?
Well, let me chime in. A nice product, nice-looking product. When I went out there to look at the roof, I didn't know what it was. You know, it's really hard to tell. But I think I'm in favor of the product that you've put in front of us. The slate, I've done slate roofs. They're so heavy and so expensive. It's just not even a reasonable roofing material today by any standard. So I think on a historic building where loads and structural capacities are certain to be, definitely have to take it into consideration. I think this is a nice-looking product.
That is the upside to the Da Vinci, is that, you mentioned that, and shame on me, I should have, but the weight bearing on a roof structure, when you put a real slate on that, especially when it's not been there, you tend to compromise the structure.
I don't think it handles
Especially the longer it ages and the older it gets, the lumber shouldn't be seeing any type of weather, but, you know, in their case, it's been leaking for a while. I wouldn't feel comfortable putting real slate in there. And back to the repairability is with real slate, when you have an issue, you're tearing out a section. Whereas this stuff, you can tear out a piece, put a piece in, and you're done, you're moving on.
And honestly, gentlemen, and ladies, I would not recommend real slate. I don't think that would carry the load up there. I would not recommend that for that particular structure at this point.
Well, John, just want to comment. I appreciated the documentation of the product that you submitted and the sample.
Absolutely.
And if I advocate anything, it's a creative use of new technology on old buildings.
Mhm.
And personally, I've been through the same thing of making choices. I think this is an excellent solution. If there's any concern, will the company be around in 50 years for the warranty period?
Oh, absolutely,
You know,
absolutely.
It's just, and Dennis, this is going to be a beautiful,
Yeah, like,
beautiful finished product.
So they make slate as well as shape, which, you know, as I say, we keep both on hand. It's identically the same, except it looks like a wood shape instead of a slate. Just for your guys' knowledge on that, you know, they do make them both. Your slate comes in single width to mimic the look of real slate. Your shape comes in multi-width, multi-length to mimic the look of real shape. So it's just some tidbit information for you. Da Vinci they developed this product in lieu of trying to keep up with new standards, you know. As structures get old, you know, they get weak and compromised. And this is a very lightweight product to mimic that look of real slate. Once it's installed, you looking at it, you can't tell it's not a legit slate.
And to follow up on that, if you all want an example of the shake, it has been recently installed on the HP Bottoms house. And you cannot tell the difference.
Good deal.
I mean, you really have to go up and kind of look at it. But for an example, it's probably a Da Vinci product that went on the Bottoms house. So, and it's especially I think one of the things we need to really think about is the fire rating as well. The fire rating on these products are phenomenal, especially with the Bottoms house. I think it's got like an 8-hour burn, which was really important when we started looking at what to do with the Bottoms house because it's surrounded by fields and woods. And so it had real shake on it, which is a tinderbox when you start thinking about it. So it is a good product and I think a viable product. But as we look at this and we think about our design guidelines, which is what drives our decisions here, the one thing that sticks out is how will the alternative material impact the building's character? It will not impact the building's character at all. So the findings of fact, and this is pretty simple, I believe that this is what they call a dichrasmitic metal, which is probably installed, it was around in the 70s and early 80s. So they're like a galvanized steel with a bitumen overlay, and it's extremely hard to find. I'm amazed that you found anybody, frankly. The steeple has reached its lifespan, and again, I have no idea what the original cladding is. And so if you find, please share. The false slate does not replicate the design or the size that is currently on the steeple. However, I don't think that the alternate material will diminish the structure's integrity at all. The alternate material does have a 50-year lifespan on it, which I think is pretty incredible, and plus that burn rating is pretty important when you start looking at these older churches and wooden steeples. The cost is half. And it would be my recommendation to approve this without any conditions.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the Second Street Christian Church request.
I have a motion. Any further discussion? Have a second?
Got a second.
Mr. Tillman? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for protecting
you.
the jewel of
Appreciate it.
Danville, sir.
Thank you.
You're, all right.
All right,
Appreciate it.
guys, you're good to go. I
You're
will
good
get
to
your COA for you. I'll send it to the pastor, but you're good to go. Now, you are going to be working on the full roof with just regular asphalt shingles. You don't require anything for that because that's just replacement of in-kind material. If you do get up there and you've got cool structural images, please take some, send it to us so we can keep that, because the church is not well documented in any of the photography I can find around. So I'd be real interested in how that's actually put together, and if you find any existing old stuff up there, take a picture and send it to me, please.
Would you all like to hang on to this thing?
I would, if you don't care. That'd be great, because this is a great
You
product.
have people asking you all the time
I
about
do.
how do I do something, so.
And with a 50-year lifespan.
Well, it's a 50-year warranty. The lifespan on the product itself it's designed to last up to 100 years. So it's literally meant to mimic sleep. Because of the product itself, it doesn't get brittle, there's no deterioration involved. The impact resistance on it is twice as good as real slate is. But they're so for sure of this product that they back it with a 50-year warranty. But the lifespan itself is, they say, north of 80 years. So, I myself love it.
The big selling point for me, guys, especially when you're looking at historic materials, is that burn rating.
Yep.
That's an incredible burn rating on that thing. So,
I'm hoping you keep the Capitol.
Yeah, well, more than likely, we'll be redoing that with copper,
Oh.
when we have to take, back to, time era. So if we do have to redo that, it'll be redone with copper, it'll be custom made in the house, we can all our own copper.
so when you all get to do that, just send me the COA on it,
Absolutely.
and we'll get you ran through, no problem.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, thank you all so much.
Thanks very much.
Hey, have a great Christmas, everybody.
Stay warm, gentlemen. Merry
Blessed day.
Christmas.
Okay. Merry Christmas.
Pastor, I'll send you that email. You're good to go.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Pretty cool product, actually. I think we're going to start to see this come into the play a great deal more with with historic buildings, just because the load capacities and the burn rating is.
Actually hoping not to have to do it in my lifetime, but I have a roof that at my home, I may have to.
Well, you know, and I would encourage you guys, if you're in Perryville, go drive out to the battlefield and look at the Bottoms house, because it's, unless you go up and do this on it, you're not gonna tell. It's pretty, and the one thing that this material doesn't do with this, the wood look, it does not fade quite like the wood would fade. So that bright color is gonna stand out to you, but, I mean, that's just an aesthetic. But for me, that burn rating, that's pretty incredible stuff, so there you go, good
Well,
deal.
cool. Update us on 204 West Main.
Okay, that house is in foreclosure.
That's what I've heard.
Yes, and Henry and I are, at this point, our attorney, we are trying to locate the bank that has the foreclosure on it, and as soon as we do, we've sent letters to Mr. Joseph. We found where he was living and got him a letter, and some phone calls, but they're throwing their hands up because it's in foreclosure. As soon as that paperwork is done, the bank will be notified that they are not to remove those windows, because at that point it becomes their property, and we'll start having discussions with them about the property. This is one I think we have to draw the line on, because this is without a doubt the oldest structure on the street. The history there is incredible. The windows need to be repaired, and probably storms would help them tremendously, but this is one that we've got to fall on our sword. We cannot let those windows go. So,
Because of its location.
well, it's because of its location, and not only that, it is without a doubt one of the most historic structures in the city. The windows are, some of the windows are the old wavy glass. Some of them may actually be original glass panes to that. So, and where it's located next to the Ephraim McDowell House and just the history there, that's what this board, that's our charge, is to protect.
Is it occupied?
No, there's no one
It's
in it.
just an empty building?
It's just sitting there. I walked all around the property. The back of the house is not open, but it's certainly in disrepair back there. So we're going to be in touch with the bank as soon as this works its way through the paperwork. So
How long will that take?
I don't know. I
Who's
do
the
not.
bank?
I do not know that either. So I've got our.
Who do you contact to find out?
I've got our attorney working on it. He's supposed to get back with me this week he has called the Josephs again to try to figure out who the bank is. They have not returned the phone call. So he'll dig that up, Henry, because it's got to be in court proceedings, for foreclosure. So
to see this thing play out, I guess the banks they'll foreclose on it
that's correct.
and take possession of it.
That is correct.
And then, will they sell it or what? How will they, do you have any idea what's gonna happen?
I have no idea at this
Can you
particular
let us
point.
know as soon as you find out?
Yes, I will, actually, but I want to let the bank know, because it's my assumption that they will sell the property, clearly. But I want to make sure,
That is a good,
I'll
you
take it.
need a fixer-upper on that end.
well, that's a massive investment.
Absolutely.
So I just want to make sure that the
Be a heck of
bank,
a furniture
when they take possession, understands that those windows are something that's historically defining characteristic.
Doesn't it have parking in the back?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It does. So I will, as soon as I find out who the bank is, I'll send you guys an email, but Henry's working on it. And so I'm sure he'll let me know within a week or so who's holding that paperwork, so. But that's
I don't know
the,
for a fact, John, but I've walked across the street and asked. The bank.
farmers,
I'd check with Community Trust first.
community trust, okay.
Something's rattling the cage back there. It makes me think.
Community
That's where it
trust.
may be.
Okay. Again, as soon as I find out, I'll let you know. I talked to him about this extensively last week. And it's just, it's being foreclosed on, so.
Have you been inside?
I have not been inside of it.
So theoretically, I did look at it, the windows probably just need to be taken out and replaced or refurbished.
Well, that's where we're at. We want them restored and not replaced.
Well, there's a company in Louisville that restores them.
There's a company in Frankfurt that did Nancy Davis's, who did a really nice job on Nancy. So the window glass is not the issue. It is the sashes around and the rails around there. And then my suggestion too would be protective storms over top of them, because that's absolutely allowed. As you know, a good protective storm would go a long way in helping those windows, because right now they're just exposed to the elements. If folks are looking at that as an investment property, I would seriously look at the seals around the bottom of the place as well. There was some issues with those a few years ago. I don't know if that was ever addressed. It looks to me like they were just cladded over. So if people are looking, look hard at the seals around the bottom of that. That might be an issue. So just as for personal knowledge. So, but we'll get it worked out and get the bank notified as soon as we can find out who's doing
And
it.
save a building.
That's one we need to
Yeah.
draw the line on, folks. That's a biggie.
Is there a way that you could get state or federal help?
You can absolutely get state and federal help. That building, of all the buildings on this street, that is a National Register listed building. There are tax credits available for anything you want to do on that building. So that's, yes, that checks all the marks for tax credits. It is National Register individually listed.
Was that what was there long ago?
It was the Asa Ayers Silver Shop,
That's right.
silversmith shop.
That's right.
One of the most famous silversmiths in the country started his business there. So
So you've got all the history though?
I do.
Can you make copies for everybody?
I can.
Will you do that?
I can do that also, yes, absolutely. I can do that.
That didn't single me out, so I just want to verify.
Well, and certainly, if you are interested in the building, we can have a discussion out of this.
Would it be a conflict if I were interested in the building? Would it be a conflict for me to,
No,
No.
no, absolutely not. No, sir. You just need to look at the horse you're buying with all the restrictions on it, so, but yeah, we can have that conversation.
And then in remodeling, ignorance would be no excuse. anymore.
That is correct,
You have to do
sir.
it right.
I will be stink-eyeing you like,
I'm looking for a partner.
Okay, let's talk about sign design guidelines,
yes,
Johnny.
sir. Okay, so I had a discussion, quite a lengthy discussion with our chosen consultant. On the 7th of January, we are going to have a walkthrough and then a larger discussion. So we will probably do Danville in the afternoon. I'll be sending out some emails. I would either like the chair or the vice chair to come with me on this walkthrough, as well
What's
as
the date?
the 7th of January. And this will just kind of be to walk around the district and have a look. And then I'm going to invite Hannah, our planning and zoning director, to come with us on that. And then I would like to get a space maybe in the library, Jonathan, if we could, maybe the bottom room, to get all of the commissioners and any of our elected officials or anyone that wants to kind of set in on a bigger discussion. So knock that January 7th in there. I sent you guys a kind of a white sheet on the window design guidelines. And I kind of asked you all to drive around and have a look at what's currently in Danville. And I sent to you the grant project objectives on signage, and that kind of tells you some of the things that I'm thinking about. Definitions of temporary, permanent, signage for upper stories, what's the appropriate signage, what is the definition of a sign? These are things that really need to be cleared up. And within this discussion, we began to talk about the things that are really significantly in long-term importance for the historic preservation. Planning and zoning doesn't really permit, they don't make you permit certain things in the city, like hours of operation, vinyl stickers on doors, just the name of the business. We spend a lot of time doing that. And as we mull around the least important things, we get quagmired down in a lot of stuff and fights that we may not necessarily want to get engaged in. Because if we get turned over in front of the city commission, it just negates our ability to fight the bigger things, like windows in a 1790 building, which is the significant thing. So I also sent to you Covington's, Kentucky's design guidelines. The consultant that we've hired, the project team leader, was for the city of Covington what I am now. So he has intimate knowledge of those. I'm not saying that they're any better guidelines. I just wanted to kind of send you all that as reference to a newer set of guidelines about windows. But as we start this process, I want you all to think about what is important in the city. And it's certainly, at this point, it's an aesthetic. Because this board needs to worry about what is going to hurt the architectural value or the architectural integrity of these buildings. So everything else is an aesthetic. Do we care about backlit bubble signs? You know, like the subway? Do we want interior lit signs? Do we even want to get involved in something about a window graphic? You know, if it meets planning and zoning standards, is that something that we want to get involved in? You know, on a covering of a window graphic. So these are the things I want you all to think about. And we will have a much more in-depth discussion about it, but I kind of want you all, what is important? And certainly it may be that the folks who live here don't want backlit bubble signs in their downtown. That may be something that they do not want. But as opposed to doing a COA for everything, there has been a movement more towards setting a set of standards for what you can have as far as signs. And then if they break those standards, it becomes an enforcement issue. So there's numerous ways to look at this. And the National Park Service does not require certificate of appropriateness on signage. So that would not affect our that would not affect our status as a CLG. So I don't want to shirk our responsibility, but I do not want to lessen this board's effectiveness by getting into troublesome quarrels over a sign painted like copper and oak. Because in the end, that's just paint. You can paint over it. It's not something that's permanent. And I think we really need to focus on permanent changes to the building, like how a sign is actually put on the building. If they're going to drill into it or change the architecture or permanently alter that building is one thing. All other signs are temporary. And we don't want to get into this is a historic thing, because if you look at this town in 1890, there were signs from the sidewalk, all up the sides of the building, plastered in every place they could, on top and in between every window. There's pictures that show you that. So this is not really a historic preservation issue in as much as it's an aesthetic that you want in your downtown. And so I want you all to start thinking about that. We're going to have a public meeting, certainly, and invite the citizens in to talk about what they want to see as their downtown aesthetic. But this is what this is. This is an aesthetic. Unless it is changing the architecture, obscuring a part of the architecture, then signage is very troublesome to all architectural review boards. And I think as we move forward, we've got to pick our battles. And the sign battle is one that puts us into a constant quagmire and problems with business leaders. And we don't want that. Now, that's not to say we don't want to deal with signs at all, because certainly we need to. But there may be better ways and different ways to think about it than what we currently have. And if it is not something that is going to hurt or affect our status as a CLG, I think we can make significant changes that make it a much better process for everyone involved. So that's my thoughts. I will open the floor to you all for your thoughts and discussion, and just think, we're just getting started in this, guys, so.
Yeah. Let me kick off, because full disclosure, I'm coming at this from completely biased. That I'm pro-business, and I appreciate the fact that a person's business that they've, invested their life money in can many times be a function of how good their signage is. It really does matter. And I think the more we can encourage business activity and vitality downtown, it makes all of our efforts to preserve these structures worthwhile. I think it works together. So from my perspective, anything we can do to, I don't want to say liberalize the signage criteria, but just make it so that it's business friendly.
I would say that the really bad signage doesn't last very long because those people usually go out of business within a year, year and a half. In fact, in my next lifetime, I'm going to come back as a sign maker. It's ongoing business. And it seems that, to come in with a lot of rules and guidelines that have to be codified and then argued about doesn't really get us where we want to be. And if part of our objective is to maintain kind of a historic ambiance as well as protect the actual architecture that is historic, I think incentives would work a lot better than rules and regulation, because it all gets down to taste. But you can award good taste. We could come up with awards for people who do sensitively thoughtful,
Good idea.
architecturally appropriate,
That's a great idea.
and then that will help awareness, which is the real battle. So that's my piece. And plus, all these rules and regulations, it gets to invading people's property rights and the right to do business, and we don't want to get in the way of that.
Why are we even talking about signs?
Because we have.
Well, we're talking about,
Wait a minute, I'm just starting.
okay, go ahead.
Why are we even talking about signs when we, as a committee, when the city as a committee, when planning and zoning as a committee, okay, all these signs stuck all over the town, Third and right from your house, there's been a sign there, and I've purposely been looking at this for over 2 months. And it's a yard sale sign or somebody selling something.
It's
been
not
there
my
for-
sign.
No, no. And it's
Just
been
full
there-
disclosure.
It's been there for over 2 months.
Yes, sir.
So I went to planning and zoning, and they said, it's not our issue, you go to the city. I went to the city, and the city says, it's not our issue, it's planning and zoning. I went back to planning and zoning, they said, no, it's not our issue, it's a city. So I'm thinking about coming down here and standing in front of that podium, in front of the city commission, and embarrass them to the point where somebody's not enforcing the signs that are stuck all over the place. Now, that has nothing to do with the physical building, but it does reflect on a physical building. The Rhodes House is what I'm talking about. You got all these junky signs sitting right out in front there, and the
I
city and everybody, including, I won't name names, you all can decide whoever you want to, that condone that. So why are we even talking about the other side when we're okaying by not doing it? We're making a decision not to do anything about those signs.
Tacit approval, I think you
Do
call
what?
that. Tacit approval, I think is what you call it.
Well, so anyway, this is a big thorn in my side, and I just think it's awful. There's a sign on Maple Avenue and Lexington Road that's about 15 feet off the ground, tied to a telephone post that's been there since April of this year. And it says, "We buy houses." Now, folks,
I
if
get
we're
it.
going to talk about signs, let's include those, and I still don't know who's responsible.
Well, and that goes to the point, right? Because if we are so restrictive downtown, and then that business owner can go right down the street and go, but look at that. That's against the rules too, and nobody's doing it. That lessens our ability to have, if we have to fall on a sword to push something, like the windows in the Ayers building. If we're into it over signage, which is, all signage is temporary, I don't want it to lessen our authority by getting stuck in that quagmire of signs, if that
Well,
makes sense to you.
Yeah, I think where I'm going with my conversation is that maybe this committee could sign a letter that goes to the city, that goes to the county, that goes to planning and zoning, complaining about, and that's wrong terminology, no. Concerned about all the yard signs and signs on telephone poles, and how would it be if we had signs stuck on the telephone post up here in front of Center College President's house? I mean, hell, they do it right up the street from you.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And by me sitting here not doing anything about it, I'm basically condoning what they're doing.
I agree.
And I'd like to see this body write some sort of structured letter. It's not in our purview to do these signs, yard signs, and no. But we-
Unless they're in the district, and then it is our issue.
Well, and then the other thing I'd like to bring up is, there's more to Danville than downtown. And I hear, and I'm on a couple other committees, and when I hear them talk about Danville, it's downtown. Everything's downtown. Well, there's more to Danville than just downtown. I mean, you've got out there, and you've got out there, and you've got out here. And that's the generator that supplies the dollars to keep basically the town going. It's not Main Street. So I would like for us as a board to start including the city as a whole, maybe part of South.
Well,
or they're not
now
even
you're
close to-
talking,
Jurisdiction.
that would have to be an ordinance changed, a redraw of the boundaries. And
I'm just saying, maybe I'm not saying we should, I'm saying maybe we should look at just planting the seed to the people like the city commission or whoever it may be.
well, I suspect as we move through this process, and we're going to have public hearings and meetings, that might be a good opportunity to voice those opinions, and then we can formalize it within our report to the city commission that is an issue throughout the city. Because we will have to make a report what our public hearing is before we present all of this to the city commission. And within that structure, John, you probably have a couple opportunities to address all of those issues within the city.
Maybe I'm senile in my older age, don't put that in minutes. But as I get older, I'm not looking for
He's always been this
conversation, I'm
way.
looking for results.
I get it.
I mean,
I understand.
I want to see results, I don't want to, I'm tired of looking at these signs stuck on the telephone pole
I get it.
over in front of Gary's house.
I see them every day.
Yeah, so,
I completely understand, and I think that's one of the things that we need to talk about is the enforcement. And
Well, and
that's
I-
within the district.
and I do know, and I'm not mentioning names, but I do know who's in charge of it now and who enforces it, and they go by there twice a day. They go by those signs twice a day, so they see those signs twice a day. And that's gonna be my next push,
Absolutely,
so.
absolutely. And again, I believe within the structures of, as we move through this process, there is opportunity to address that, because I see those in the district. If it's right across the street from the Rhodes House, well, the Rhodes House is part of the district.
Yes.
So that does affect the district. And so within that framework, I think you have ample opportunity to bring up those signs. And I know that has been a thorn in your side for some
I've
time.
even seen the signs in the flower beds,
Right,
so.
yeah. They'll stick them, they stick them everywhere.
That's a mortal sin.
It is a mortal sin. I
Make me
agree.
feel better. I've complained, because they're all over the bypass.
They're
on those
everywhere.
bikes,
Yes,
And we just need to.
I
I
agree.
think the rules are there. It's a question of enforcement.
Well,
Okay.
and as we move through this,
I'm done.
these are the things I want you all to start thinking about. And I want you to actively look at other cities and how they deal with the signage issue, because believe me, you all, it's not just us. dealing with signage. This is an ongoing struggle with every community, even communities that don't have a certified local government or a protected historic district. It's still an issue. And we do have to give some consideration about the aesthetic in the district. As Dana said, you know, we want downtown Danville. I think it is the community's idea to have it reflect a more historic venue. Certainly, a more historic venue draws folks that want to see that. You know, if they want to see Chili's or Applebee's, they go out to the bypass. But when they come within your historic district, they are expecting a certain aesthetic within that district. So there's a couple different ways to handle that. We can set up certain standards and make sure that those standards are followed, but then again, that falls back on enforcement. So as you understand, there's a couple different ways to look at it. Now, I want you all to start between now and January 7th. Spend a little time looking at how other communities handle it. Start with Covington, but pretty simple searches out there on the great internet will bring you to a lot of information. Look at, you know, and I'll send you all some stuff, National Park Service through their updated signage things. And they are tending to look more at preserving historic signs instead of worrying about what people are using as new signs. And again, we don't want to go into the historic argument because there's pictures out there of Danville loaded up with signs from the sidewalk to the top of the building. It's insane. So there's a couple different things we need to think about. Whatever we do, there has to be enforcement.
Well, signs are signs are signs.
They are.
There's the signs on the building are no different than the signs stuck in front of Gary's house.
I agree.
Keep using you as a crutch.
And then, you know,
That could be a song.
and then honestly, I have not weighed into what's at, I don't even know what it's called now, but it used to be Super America or the Dollar Store. The bollard signs that they slip down over the bollards. I mean, ideally, we're supposed to, like Pepsi Cola, we're supposed to deal with that.
Who enforces that?
Well, that's a good question. You know, that's one reason I haven't stuck our foot into that. It's because, my God, can you imagine having to deal with the bollard sign for Pepsi Cola at the dollar store up here? You're looking at, you know, and one of the things that we are going to look at this year too is doing the map for the redistricting of that again. So it's just a very sticky wicket, but I do want you all to start developing along these guidelines some ideas of what you want to talk about, and given all of that, it is an enforcement issue. We can say whatever we want, but in the end, somebody's got to write the ticket if it's wrong.
Well, it only takes just a few sentences from the right people to tell the right people what to do, and it'll get done.
Yes, sir.
Well, since the Heart of Danville no longer exists, they kind of awarded businesses for various successes. That leaves a void where we could get into that space to reward and acknowledge people who are really moving things in a good direction.
Well, and as that, I am getting ready to put our 2025 Preservation Awards up on the internet in January. If that is a desire, we can add a sign. We can add a historic, or, you know, within the district, a creative sign part of that. I'm happy to do that and move that along. That's easy to do.
Well, something to think about.
Because I'm round,
Who okays those creative signs?
who okays them?
If I want to go out on a limb, hell, you can create anything.
We okay them. We are the people that okay the signs in the district. That is us. We okay 'em. Now, we cannot tell somebody what color they can have their sign or what's actually on the sign, because that's been argued in the courts and lost. But we can certainly say that was I don't want to say a clever design, but historically appropriate, or some language that would reflect that sign within the district is.
It would help our PR problem too, to be the people who acknowledge things that are good rather than people who try to pull their weight around and tell other people
Yes,
what to
and
do.
that's something I can certainly add to our preservation award because that's going up in January. I think Nancy Davis is I've talked to Nancy about getting into that, because that project she's got on the church with those windows are spectacular. So that's something we can certainly award. And if you all see a sign that you think would be worthy of that award, please talk to me about it, because we've got to get people involved in applying for those awards. So,
Right.
so that's something, and then I'm gonna need too, Dana, maybe you and I can talk about what the criteria for that award would be, because we've got there's got to be a criteria in which we give that award, so please be thinking about that. And I'll get with you early January. and we'll-
Appropriateness is such a slippery,
We are, but that's kind of the business that we're in, so. Any other discussion that you want to have, Lynn? You're being awfully quiet.
Try to keep things short.
That's okay.
I want to reinforce what Gary said, pro-business. And my experience is limited, but we owned and operated a bed and breakfast. The house is on Lexington, buried behind trees. Real tough to find the driveway. And so I looked at signage.
Sure.
What I could put up in my yard. It's, oh my gosh, an 8x10 plat with particular font, it had to be in the lawn. That wasn't going to cut it for people coming into town looking for the house.
Sure.
Now, I got around it by starting to fly American flags and told the guests, go down the street
Sure.
and look for the house with the American flag. And the other thing is combining new technology with aesthetics and tastes, like Dana was saying. We have some expertise on this board, and my experience being here for less than a year or so is when an applicant comes to you first and sits down and starts to talk, those become our successes. And during this whole sign conversations, at some point in time, I don't want to forget our part in education.
Absolutely.
And taste and aesthetics are thorny issues, and we all have, what we think is good or bad. But the bottom line, a sign is part of a business plan and marketing. And there always are going to be solutions where you can take new LED bulbs and make that into a decent sign that hopefully will fulfill what the business plan is about, and then satisfy the requirement that we have sign integrity in the downtown. I couldn't agree more with what John's saying about, at some point in time, we need to get out downtown and look at what's going on with signs. Now, I have a couple of buckets of paint. If you want to meet this weekend, just don't record it. Just saying.
Agreed.
But I intend to take it upon myself. I'm going to do some research and just see how other towns and cities
Absolutely.
have coped with the signage.
Agreed.
Because I've been through cities that look like Las Vegas, and I've been through cities that say, gosh, there's no signs around here. So obviously there's some solution. I'll stop. I'm just saying, education.
Agreed.
There you go.
And I will say to you, I feel like this committee, we have made giant leaps and strides, because I get phone calls now pretty regularly of, hey, can we, Pastor Miller, hey, can you come look? And sure, let me come over and look. So those are the battles that we need to fight. The steeple of a National Register church is a battle that we need to engage in. The windows in a 1790 building is a battle we need to engage in. And unless you are drastically affecting or changing the architecture of a building, signs are temporary. All signs are temporary. That's just the nature of the beast. So, you know, how we define a temporary thing, 30 days. Well, no, it can be there 5 years, but it's not a permanent fixture up on that building. So as we look at this, keep in mind, you know, there are some things that we cannot allow, and we cannot allow the architecture to be damaged, change, the integrity of the building to be changed, architecture to be obscured by signage. Those are the biggies. Do we want to get into a battle over a 8x10, or do we even want to require a COA for a 8x10 hours of operation on a door? That's, I don't want to say it wastes my time, but it creates, and two, you all have to think, who's coming after me? You know, is that something that we want to try to deal with right now so that the next person stepping into that position doesn't have to worry about an 8x10 vinyl sticker for hours of operation on a door? You know, I have to go and tell people now, I got to have a COA for that. It's ridiculous.
Which leads me to the question, do you have a backup right now?
For me? No,
You don't have an assistant?
no, sir.
Couldn't somebody in planning and zoning, I go by planning and zoning all the time, there's 2 or 3 people sitting.
Oh, now, I work with Hannah quite well.
Well, I'm not talking about working with them, I mean, I'm talking about somebody, if you're busy and you have to go to somebody's house to look at something and you can't do it, then somebody else can.
Well, there's an issue that you have to have a certified person to do that. And to be a certified person, you have to be carrying a preservation degree and have experience in
But
preservation.
God forbid, what would happen, where would we go if you?
I'm gonna call UK and say, hey, I need somebody in that preservation program that would be interested in working with Danville. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do, John, to answer your question. And there are people out there that could do that. But right now, I can handle what we've got going on, but I'm just looking to the future as the district expands and things. You know, you have a lot of infill projects. Say you've got a contractor comes in downtown and wants to tear down 2 or 3 buildings. Those are the battles that we need to engage in. The 8x10 hours of operation on a door, I don't think we need to be engaging in that. For one, planning and zoning doesn't even require a sign permit for that. So why are we requiring a permit for it? So these are the things I think that would make things a lot easier, in that it would reflect that we are pro-business and that we don't want to overburden folks in town with paperwork for a 8x10 hours of operation on your door. I don't think.
Joint meeting with planning and zoning be productive?
We will be having joint meetings as this process goes through. We certainly.
When are we gonna have that?
1 minute. It looks like early summer to mid-July.
Should we make it mandatory? Let the chairman write the letter, make it mandatory that the county judge and the mayor be there?
I'm not sure we can make it mandatory, but we can
Well,
always
you could
suggest.
write it in there mandatory, whether they show up or not is,
Well, I think too, we're gonna have more than one meeting. We'll have meetings with city commission. There are numerous meetings, so I certainly think
I
that,
think we should, I mean, so the left hand knows what the right hand.
absolutely. Well, in the end, the enforcement issue is going to lay with city commission. So if you go in front of this body and you don't, if we turn you down, then you can go, as has happened, you can go in front of city commission and get it overturned. So whatever we're doing, we want to make sure that city commission knows and is approving of it, and also understands what the aesthetic that the people who live in Danville want in their downtown, which is where we're at. I mean, this is what this really is. It's about aesthetics. Now, if somebody wants to come in and lop off the top of the DOE building and put up some ridiculous sign and take blocks down and move architecture around, that's where we need to be involved. But does what I'm saying make sense to you all? Okay, so,
Do you have, you've talked with the Covington group. Do you have come away with the feeling that they're on board with the direction we seem to be wanting to go?
yes, I think so. And, you know, when you look at their design guidelines, they do still score their downtown. And now, I will say Covington has a very restrictive CLG. They also have a considerable amount of the city that's covered in these historic districts. I think they've got 6, which is big. When you look at that map, they've got 6 different districts, and there's different aesthetic in every district. For us, it's just one, thankfully. But, you know, as I talk to him, and as you all are going to be talking with him on the 7th of January, but I think that they are leaning more towards setting a standard and then making it an enforcement issue. Because, again, as I said, this is not just Danville rolling around with these signs. It's everywhere. And it just seems to create more problems. And it does really kind of negate the authority of your architectural review boards when they have to worry about a 8 by 10 hours of operation on your door. It just doesn't, it's not really what we're supposed to be doing.
Okay.
What is the name of the firm that's going to be doing this consulting work?
Oh, Spangler Tunnel and, oh God, Spangler and Tunnel. I'd have to look, because they've got a big name, Spangler Tunnel and something Associates. But I can send that to you. And I don't have the proposal with me,
Okay.
so.
Well,
But it's-
maybe that's enough, I can find it online.
Yeah, they're a firm out of Lexington. They're a firm out of Lexington. Spangler and Tunnel something Associates.
Okay.
Any other discussion, gentlemen, ladies, y'all want to have about this? I've given you a lot to think about, and
I tell the lawyer who's in charge of the Ayers House up there, the ASAP.
I will get on that. And then I've been instructed that I must bring up that we are unanimously in favor of a Jelly of the Month Club for our Christmas bonus. So I'll leave that to you, Chairman, if you'd like to make that motion.
Do what?
You'll have to talk to your fellow board members here about the Jelly of the Month Club.
Okay, gotcha.
But I brought it up, John. I want you to know I brought that up, so.
What's Ty doing?
The Jelly of the Month and our Christmas bonus.
Is it, who made the motion?
I just threw it out there.
You were gonna make the motion to give us a Christmas bonus. Now, go ahead, you said you would do it.
You said you would do it.
I make a motion to give us a Christmas bonus of a subscription to the Jelly of the Month Club.
I agree.
I'd like to amend the motion.
Am I supposed to be taking this?
Did we discuss no?
How much is this gonna cost?
How much is it gonna cost?
Go talk to planning and zoning.
Surely you're gonna don't put all this in the minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know.
Oh, they're recording it. I mean, it's,
Yeah, and so. I will also tell you that
I
we
think that
have.
motion died for lack of a second.
Died for lack of a second. We have also, we have been granted another subscription to the National Association of Preservation Commissions. So you guys will still be getting those emails. So any of those, anything
Education.
that you want to look at
Okay.
there, we're still enrolled in that. So we got that from the Heritage Council.
A couple of times I've tried to enroll in things and it wouldn't accept my code. Does that change?
That there should be a unique code for each one. You should get like an email the month before with a unique code for each different web.
Okay.
So be looking for that, Dana. And if
From
you don't,
you or from them?
no, it's going to come from them. It will come from them. If you don't see it, check your junk mail or promotional stuff and have a look at it, because sometimes it goes into there. But you should get 2 or 3 weeks before that the registration comes up, they'll send you something with an individual code, and that's what you put the code in for each individual webinar. And I highly suggest it, and I will remind you all, we need at least 1 hour of training. Most of you guys got covered last year when we did the tax credit thing, but if you haven't done a webinar, please do one ASAP.
Before we adjourn, can you give us an update on the historic buildings in Perryville?
As far as,
The doctor who owns both those historic,
so did you go to the Crawford House?
no, I haven't.
Oh,
I've been by it, but I haven't been.
so,
there.
you know, in October, he had an open house. Fabulous. I'm going to nominate him myself for one of our preservation awards, because that, on that Crawford House is incredible. Carrick's Parks, they're just now getting started on it, but Crawford House is done. Call Harold Edwards and ask Harold, tell Harold you want to see it, and he'll take you in it. It is in,
Have we recognized him for that house?
we're going to, if he meets the criteria, I believe that he should have one of our awards awarded to him, because that's an unbelievable job. And believe me, I know what that house looked like before, and it's incredible, incredible what they've done to it. During the commemoration, he had an open house, and I gotta tell you, I was floored when I walked in there. I don't know how much money that man spent on that place, but a lot. Even the HVAC system they put in is in the ceiling. I mean, it is well done, well done. So I'm very optimistic about Carrick's Parks as well. I feel like that's gonna be pretty incredible. So call Harold, tell him you wanna go in.
Do I have a motion to pay and adjourn?
A motion to who?
It's a joke. Do I have a motion to
You know, it's
adjourn?
hard to take minutes here.
Difficult.
All this moving with nothing
Do
behind
I have a
it.
motion to adjourn? I second. Who made the motion?
We have a second.
We have a second. We're good.
Who's first, who's second?
John's always
John's
first.
first.
I didn't do anything.